The thought of losing you haunts me every night, but it's this very fear that makes me realize how deeply I've come to depend on you. I can't imagine life without you, but sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones we risk everything for, knowing they might break our hearts in the end. I'm terrified of losing you, more than you'll ever know. But in the face of that fear, I realize that the love we share is worth more than the safety of never taking the risk. My heart tells me to hold on, but my soul knows the truth. I have to let go and trust. You're the one who keeps me grounded, yet I can't help but feel this terrifying sense of losing you with each passing day. But I know that love isn't about staying safe. It's about taking risks, facing the unknown, and trusting that together we'll make it through. The fear of losing you creeps into my mind every second, but it's also that fear that makes me appreciate what we have even more. Sometimes love is about surrendering to the unknown and taking a leap of faith, even when you're not sure what the fall will feel like. Losing you is my greatest fear, yet the thought of living without you terrifies me more. But I've come to realize that the risk of loss pales in comparison to the reward of loving you fully, deeply, and without hesitation. It's worth the risk, no matter how scary. Every moment with you is a treasure, yet I find myself afraid of the possibility of losing you. But love isn't about holding on so tightly that you forget to live. Sometimes it's about embracing the uncertainty, even when the risk feels too big to bear. The thought of losing you makes my heart race with fear, but I've learned that love isn't about avoiding the hurt. It's about daring to live with the potential pain because the love we share is worth every risk. I'd rather take the chance and love you, even if it means losing you someday. You're my greatest gift, and the idea of losing you terrifies me to the core. But when I think about how much you've brought into my life, I realize that the risk is worth it. I'll face the fear head on because you are worth the leap into the unknown. The idea of losing you has been weighing on my heart, but with that fear comes the realization that this love is the most important thing I have ever known. Sometimes the greatest risks lead to the most beautiful rewards, and I'm willing to take that risk for you. I fear losing you every single day, but I also know that love without risk is no love at all. If I hold on to you too tightly, I might smother what we have. If I let go too soon, I might regret it. But I'd rather take that chance than live a life wondering what might have been. Every second with you feels like a blessing, but my heart races with the thought of losing you. Yet, despite the fear, I realize that the greatest loves are the ones where you risk everything, where the leap of faith might break you, but it's worth it because you tried. I'm terrified of losing you, but I realize now that love isn't about holding on for dear life. It's about letting go of the fear and trusting that no matter what happens, the love we share is powerful enough to endure anything. I'm ready to take that risk. The fear of losing you has become my shadow, but I would rather live with that fear than never experience the depth of love that we have. There's no certainty in love, only the willingness to take risks and give your heart to someone, no matter the outcome. Losing you is my greatest fear, but it's also my greatest lesson. Love is not about protecting myself from hurt. It's about diving into the uncertainty and embracing the unknown with open arms. It's worth every risk if it means I get to love you. I'm scared of losing you, but then I think about how much of myself I've given to you, how much of my soul I've shared, and I know that this fear means I've already taken the risk. I've already chosen you, and that decision was worth everything. Losing you scares me more than anything, but what scares me more is the thought of never truly loving you with all of my heart. To love without fear is to risk everything, and I'm willing to do that for you. It's a risk I'd take again and again. I fear the thought of losing you, but then I realize that in the end, love isn't about keeping someone by your side forever. It's about giving them the freedom to grow, to be who they are, and trusting that no matter what, the love we share will endure. The idea of losing you paralyzes me, but at the same time, I know that love is about living in the moment and making the most of the time we have. Sometimes, taking the risk is the only way to experience the full depth of love. Losing you is my deepest fear, but in facing that fear, I understand that love isn't about avoiding the risk. It's about embracing it with everything you have. It's about loving someone so deeply that you're willing to lose yourself for them, even if it's scary. I'm terrified of losing you, but I also know that life without love is a life half lived. If taking a risk means loving you fully without holding anything back, then I'll take that risk every time. It's the only way I know how to love you. The fear of losing you makes my heart ache, but I've realized that love is not about certainty or control. It's about the willingness to take a leap, to trust that the connection we have will guide us through the darkest times, even when we're afraid. I'm terrified of losing you, but I know that the risk is what makes our love so beautiful. It's in the vulnerability, the uncertainty, the willingness to open my heart despite the fear that I find the true meaning of love. And that's worth everything. Losing you is my greatest fear, but I've come to understand that love doesn't flourish in the absence of risk. It's in taking the leap, in trusting the unknown, and in embracing the possibility of pain that we discover the beauty of truly being in love. I can't shake the fear of losing you, but at the same time, I know that love is not meant to be contained or controlled. It's meant to be free, wild, and a little bit scary. So I'm willing to take the risk because the love we share is worth the unknown. I fear losing you with all my heart, but when I stop and reflect, I realize that without the risk, there's no reward. Without taking a leap of faith, I would never know the depth of love we could have. And that thought terrifies me more than anything. Losing you is a thought I can't bear, but I also know that holding on to someone too tightly can suffocate them. So I'll take the risk of letting you go, trusting that if we're meant to be, we'll find our way back to each other, no matter what. The idea of losing you fills me with dread, but then I think about all the beautiful moments we've shared and realize that love isn't about avoiding pain, it's about embracing the journey. Even if the road is uncertain, I'm willing to walk it with you. I'm terrified of losing you, but I also know that to truly love someone is to allow them to grow and change, even if it means facing the fear of loss. If loving you means risking everything, then I'll risk it all, because you're worth it. The fear of losing you is overwhelming, yet I have learned that love is a gamble, and sometimes the greatest rewards come from taking the biggest risks. I'm willing to take that risk for you because I know that our love is worth every fear, every tear, every sacrifice. Losing you is my nightmare, but I've realized that fear doesn't dictate how I love you. Love is a choice, and I choose to love you fearlessly, even if it means taking risks and facing the unknown. I'm scared of losing you, but I'm more afraid of not loving you with everything I have. I'd rather risk everything for you than live a life of regret, wondering what could have been. This love is worth the risk. The idea of losing you is terrifying, yet I've come to realize that love isn't about avoiding risk. It's about embracing it with open arms. Love is about showing up, even when the future is uncertain, and I'm willing to take that chance with you. I fear losing you more than anything, but I've also learned that love is about letting go of the fear and trusting in the connection we share. I'll take the risk because I believe in us, in the love we have, and in the strength it gives us.